So I think in every person's life there are defining moments. Sometimes a defining moment, sometimes multiple that spread out over years. For me, there were a couple, but one of the most definitive ones happened on the movie Do You Want to Dance? In the middle of that movie, the character I played, Billy, has a dance solo. I had never up until that point starred in a film that I wrote and produced. So there was tremendous pressure going into this film on me as to, could I do this? Could I act in a film? Could I produce a film? Could I have written a film that would be interesting? But ultimately, it seemed to come down to one thing: can Krantz dance? That was, from the moment we started this project, that is all I ever heard was, can Krantz dance? Because during the movie I danced a lot, but in this particular scene, I was alone. So Krantz wasn't sure if Krantz could dance, to tell you the truth. So I wasn't sure going into this, how is this going to turn out? But I knew I had been preparing as hard as I could. And I knew going into that day, this was going to be a defining moment for me. And to say I was nervous is an understatement. But at any rate, we got out there that day, and the irony was that we had scouted that location, I think sometime in the summer, late summer. It was beautiful. That's great, no problem. We got out there in October. This is in Chicago. It was freezing that day. Freezing. I mean, everyone's in parkas and everything, and I'm out there in jeans dancing away with a jacket on. But I got out there, and the choreographer Billy Goodson was there. His assistant Keith Cool was there, and I started doing the dance. And I remember people were behind the camera and were like, "Hey, man, this really looks good," you know. And I remember there was a joy that came over me. And from that moment, there's a still photo that defines everything of that day and that moment for me. And you can just feel the joy of what I'm going through at that moment. And my love of dance, the love of the moment, love of the project, love of everything. And I was so happy. And I think it shows in that photo, and I think it shows in that dance. Now, on one of the other videos I talked about how minor miracles, small miracles happen in life, and how when you have God in your life, as you're trying to find your purpose or your destiny, it mixes together. And this was one of those moments, because not only could I feel God's presence with me, I knew something good was happening, but this is the critical part. What happened was we got about maybe half to 3/4 of the way through the dance, and we started losing the sun. And everyone's like, "Hey, we got to wrap this up." And we're like, "What? We got like another minute of dancing to do." They're like, "No, we got to wrap this up. We got to okay, what are we going to do? We're going to build a plank, and Bob just run off and jump off this plank." Okay, good idea. So that's how the dance number ended. And what had been happening throughout the day was one of these little miracles. The music would be playing, I'd be dancing, and then they would say, "Okay, cut." But the music kept playing. So I just kept dancing. And it wasn't the choreography, I was happy, and I was just dancing away and bopping away. And I remember looking over at Billy Goodson, the choreographer, and he's like, "What are you doing? Like, that's not even the steps." And I thought, yeah, but they're gonna cut it out anyway. So we just, I was happy. So we wrapped the dance number, fly back to Los Angeles, we start editing it. I look at it and I go, we didn't have enough dance for the music. And I was looking at it going, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? You know what, we were gonna do a pickup date, which you go back and you film scenes, you pick up shots and so forth. I'm like, let's go back, we'll pick up some stuff at the location. Call up the location, unbelievably, they had torn down the entire location. This was a huge location. It was no longer there. You're like, okay, that's not gonna work. What are we gonna do? So I went back and looked at the footage, and sure enough, I started looking at all that footage where I just kept dancing for no reason. And I'm like, that's what we're gonna use. So when you see that dance number, there's some of it that's choreographed and some of it just, by the grace of God, I kept dancing for whatever reason, and it incorporated into the final edited piece. And when that moment was done, that minute and a half, 2 minutes of dancing was done, I remember when we finished editing it and I thought, that's a defining moment in my life, because I think I answered the question, can Krantz dance? I think everyone like, okay, Krantz can dance. And I thought that would be the end of it, never knowing that when I went to the next film, it would be, can Krantz still dance? And when I went to the next film after that, it was, why is Krantz still dancing? So I guess it'll be with me my whole life. But on that day, at that moment, that was a defining day, a defining moment, and such a joyous, unbelievable feeling. And it was another moment where I felt that, that God was with me. Hope you agree when you watch it.